NoDQ Galaxy, we are live with a night of discussion and previews and predictions for two professional wrestling / sports entertainment events. Not one, but two tonight. We are predicting two events coming up this weekend. Saturday night, we have NXT's No Mercy premium live event. And then Sunday, we have the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view event. That will be taking place in Seattle, Washington. We have 16 matches to give our predictions for. Now, we are going to do rounds for some of these matches, meaning one person will give their predictions for 5 matches, and that way we can move at a faster pace. That's the plan for tonight, but we will go into detail for the main matches of these cards. Now, before we get started, I would like to go around and get everyone's thoughts on these shows. Of course, I have to start with the reliable one, Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for each show? We got Wrestle Dream and No Mercy. Your thoughts?
Wrestle Dream, I'm probably at a 6. You want me to pay $50, and this is the second pay-per-view in a row where the world title isn't on the line for AEW. They did All Out, and now this one. And MJF didn't defend his title on either one. And No Mercy, believe it or not, even though it's not my NXT, as Noah said, I'm about an 8. It's pretty exciting. They did a good job with this one.
Fair enough. Good old JM Jeff Meacham, your thoughts?
Well, I lucked out in that I booked myself going to a Halloween franchise convention long before they announced these shows, so I don't have to worry about watching them. And I also have the benefit of having this guy do commentary for both those shows for me, so I don't have to do a damn thing this weekend except sit back and enjoy the revenue coming in. As far as the shows themselves, Wrestle Dream for $50 is a lot to invest in, but I am looking forward to the feature matches we're going to talk about. And same with NXT. So I'll give the weekend 8 out of 10 anticipation overall.
All right, fair enough. And Noah Foster, the simple man, always dressed for the occasion. How's it going? How are you feeling about these two events?
Hey, hello, Aaron Rip, NoDQ Galaxy, and family. Always great to see you. I'm feeling very strong about both of these events. You all know me as a fan of professional wrestling by this time, I feel like. Damn it, but I digress. I will say, even though this is not my NXT, this NXT No Mercy being a hybrid of soft raw and this white and gold rebranding does have some potential to be a very interesting show with 6 matches, 3 of which I really care about. The others I'm still kind of meh. So I'll be respectable and give it a 7 out of 10. For me, though, being a fan that honors Antonio Inoki, the guy's been in the ring with the likes of Bob Backlund, Big Vader, Hulk Hogan, an innovator, a visionary in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the anticipation of something changing, and we don't know exactly what that is. And the fact the AEW Champion has a program, if it's not on this pay-per-view, at least I got something going. Hey-oh. Definitely, I'm more looking forward to Wrestle Dream because, again, I love professional wrestling. And as Jeff alluded to, the marquee matches definitely have my interest. There's a lot of different matches that could go either way, and I'm still unsure. I think for Wrestle Dream, I'm definitely at an 8 out of 10. And it's good to see you all once again.
Thank you, Noah, for that. I think I would have to maybe give the slight edge to sports entertainment over professional wrestling. Sorry, Noah, but
No, you're fine.
NXT is shorter, 6 matches instead of 10, which for me personally, I prefer that. I understand it's a $50 pay-per-view. You want to give fans as much product as possible for their $50, but I'm not really feeling the Wrestle Dream card all that much. Both shows will be great, but neither of them are particularly blowing me away as far as hype goes. Like, I haven't been watching much of NXT lately, so that's a thing too. I just basically go with the ideas, it's going to be a good show. So yeah. I think Wrestle Dream, maybe a 6, NXT, maybe a 7, but both of them far from peak interest going in. And I know both will be great shows. I mean, I'm not really worried about that. I just don't really feel an overwhelming amount of excitement for either show.
Well, but Jeff? Again, Aaron, that goes back to what we've talked about, you and I, over the last 20 years, is the plethora of premium / pay-per-view events. Like, there's so many, it's very hard to keep the hype, the anticipation levels, the adrenaline levels high when you've got a show, literally week after week. You figure this poor guy over here, we don't have a weekend off until I think Veterans Day is the next one we have off, maybe. I think is the next weekend, then there's nothing, I think. So,
a guy that loves all things wrestling. So take me for what you will.
Right. But as you calling it, you being a fan, the hype's there. But for Aaron, who's doing recaps and having to keep up with stuff, and it's definitely a challenge in 2023 to keep that Mojo Raleigh mood and stay hype, because there's so much of it.
I get that.
Very good point, Jeff. We have a couple of super chats here, which I'll get to before we start. Richard Morales sent in $2. Thank you, Richard. Says, how much for me to do the Daniel Garcia dance? Dude, I don't even know what that is.
He's on the wrong stream. He's trying to freaking get the Noah and I doing on the open mic night stuff. Save that stuff for Saturday. And Daniel
Garcia,
does
the dance even go?
I'm not doing
Basically,
it.
he has his hands like this and he pumps back and forth.
If you want to see an example of it, Aaron, have the WrestleDream Galaxy go back and watch Old Mike Night from, what was it, last week, Noah?
Yeah, last week both of you did it.
He and I both did it on here.
Oh, we got a cameo.
Rutrow
is right.
Just like John Cena. You can't see him.
That's right.
All right, so Big G, shout out to Big Baller G in the house tonight. He says, miss my wrestling fam. I shall make my return sooner than later. We hope to have Big G back in the near future.
Definitely good to see Big G. Looking forward to. He messaged me. He goes, I'm probably sending you some money to buy some stuff at the 45 convention. I'm like, dude, just let me know. There's going to be plenty of shit there to buy, I'm sure.
Always happy to be here. Appreciate you, Big G. Take care, brother.
We appreciate Big G very much. Now, let's get into the predictions. We are going to start with NXT since NXT is coming up first.
Yes.
It's this Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Peacock and WWE Network outside of the U.S. We're going to do a round of predictions, so each person will give their predictions for the matches I'm about to list. We have a total of 6 matches, and I'm putting the 3, in my opinion, lesser matches as part of this round. So if you think this is a big match, then I apologize. I mean, you could argue any of these 3 matches, well, maybe 2 of them. So for this round, we have Noam Dar versus Butch with Tyler Bate in a British Rounds rules match for the NXT Heritage Cup. Noah, I don't really care about the Heritage Cup, quite frankly, so that's why I put this here. I mean, it's cool that we got Butch on the pay-per-view, which, again, that's how you know it's going to be a good show, when you got some of the best guys from the main roster coming back to NXT for this. So, that's going to be a good match, I'm sure. Bron Breakker versus Baron Corbin. Bron Breakker, I mean, former world champion, but I mean, I really don't care about Baron Corbin at this stage of the game, so I have little to no interest in that match. And then you have a 4-way tag team title match. You have the family, Tony D'Angelo and Stax, against OTM, and the Creed brothers and Los Lotharios, and they're still a thing apparently. So I really don't care about this match either. So these 3 matches we're going to give our thoughts for. I'll throw it over to good old JM, Jeff Meacham first. Those 3 matches I just mentioned, go ahead and give me your thoughts and your predictions.
Well, based on the fact that Butch, Pete Dunne, whatever you want to, and I agree with JJ. I want that to be a thing too, JJ. I want Butch to destroy Noam Dar. I just don't think it's going to happen, personally. But it'll be a good match. You got Butch and Tyler Bate back in their element, competing in British style wrestling. Or at least Tyler will be at ringside there. I'm going to go with Noam Dar to retain the Heritage Cup. I'm going to go with Bron to defeat Baron Corbin. I'm not as sour on Baron Corbin because I apparently he's the one guy that's going to get a pass for me time and time again, because that's my boy's pick back in the day. And he apologized to me for how bad he's been booked. So I can give Baron a pass. Tag titles is the one I really don't care about. How many 4-way matches are we going to have for the NXT tag titles? It's like, let's just call it the 4-way tag titles. Let's just call it that. I'm going to say the family retains just to move the show along.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Jeff. What's Mensa?
Mensa is Oh God, I know this. Give me a second.
Okay. I wasn't sure what that's a reference to, but yeah, somebody made that comment. Anyways,
yeah, it's like a genius committee, I think, or some nonsense.
Yeah. It's more of like the high IQ society group.
does this have anything to do with wrestling?
No, but my IQ is 138, so take that for what you will. According to the test I once took. But
Well, I don't know if you're as high as Virtue. Virtue is borderline genius IQ wise.
Good for
Yes.
you. But knowledge is a very dangerous thing if not used correctly.
Especially in professional wrestling.
Damn it.
All right. So Noah, since the mic's on you right now, Walter's got his mic off, so I'm not going to make him turn it on just yet. Walter, you can wait a sec. Noah, go ahead, give us your thoughts.
I'll save my rants for tomorrow, right across Cast 18 Studios and my simple YouTube channel. Let's just keep this quick and simple, because these are the three matches I care the least about across this entire weekend. Heritage Cup that shouldn't exist in the first place. The freaking TikTok reject group and Metaphor, no one dart's going to retain it. Breaker Corbin, someone's going to spear the other one into the freaking announce table. And Mr. Tito, there's medicine for that. That being said, I'm going to go with Baron Corbin because they're trying to reset his career, and I fade Brian Baker's feet. As far as this NXT tag title, could give two bleeps less. Give it to the family.
All right, thank you for that, Noah. And I'll go next. I'll just say the family retains. Braun Breaker beats Baron Corbin, and I guess Noam Dar wins since Butch is on SmackDown. Why have him win this? So there you go. Walter, I'll throw it over to you now.
Yep, I think Dar versus Butch would be a good one to go back and forth. It'd be a lot of action, but that's the same reason I'm going with Dar. It's because Butch is already on the main roster. I think this is just like for the fans. It's just to do that. And then Breaker is going to beat Corbin, and then the tag team none of us gave a shit about. So family.
All right. Sean Garner sent in $2. Thank you. Sean says, we also have Kalani Jordan versus Blair Davenport on the kickoff. Well, whoop-de-doo.
It's like, I don't care if the last time NXT actually did a match on the kickoff. It shows you how important this match is. If they're going to, let's go on a kickoff, make sure we get them in there. It's like, okay.
Well, at least Blair's getting booked. That's where.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll go with Blair just for that reason. At least there you go.
And the more recognized name.
Yeah, Blair.
Walter
Blair.
All
right, there you go. All right, so now we are going to move to the what I call the three key matches of the evening. And again, some might disagree with me putting these matches with more of an emphasis, but there you go. So the first one, and considering who's in it, some might not like this, but we got Dirty Dominik Mysterio versus Trick Williams. And I believe we have a special guest referee in this match.
That's correct. Dragon Lee.
Dragon Lee is the special guest referee, which is interesting. You know, that makes this quite gimmicky, and we're probably going to have some shenanigans, but it should be entertaining. It's Dominik Mysterio, and Trick is starting to come into his own at this point. I definitely expect some kind of shenanigans. I don't see Dominik losing the title since this match was not the original plan for the pay-per-view. It was originally supposed to be Mustafa Ali and Dominik Mysterio. So I do think Dominik wins. There'll be some kind of controversial ending, and who knows, maybe Dragon Lee will get his rematch at some point, but I think I have to go with Dominik to retain. Walter Cruz, you could turn on your mic, and I'll throw it over to you for your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Dom retains, and it's simply because this is just a replacement match. It was supposed to be Mustafa, and then this happened. So, and I think it does lead to Dragon Lee getting his rematch, and that's the whole.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right. Noah Foster, we'll throw it over to you now.
Whether it's Mustafa Ali or Trick Williams, Mommy is going to make sure he retains the NA title underneath lights that aren't red. So Dominik's obviously going to retain this title. Dragon Lee just had a match for this title. If you all actually watch Monday Night Raw, yeah, folks, we are not keep up with WWE. How about that crap? And I don't have to tweet about it. Dragon Lee just lost against Dominik Mysterio on Monday Night Raw for the title. It sounds like Dragon Lee's the guy to take it off him. We just don't know when. This is definitely a filler match. Further expanding the idea of NXT as third brand, never will be. Developmental. I call it as I see it. Dom retains.
All right, and now we throw it over to good old JM, Jeff Meacham, the one and only West Coast professor. Go ahead.
That's right, the one and only, since Tanae lives in Vegas. It's not technically West Coast. Just inland enough where I get the title. By God.
You digress.
Love you, Mike. I'm glad to be a Hall of Famer. Him and Dom both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Along with Tracy. I'm going to say Dom retains, if for another reason than to advance the story of Trick Williams feeling further and further like he's, being almost an afterthought to Carmelo. And that's when we'll see that bust up between the two of them here before too long. Dom retains.
All right. Sounds good. And now I'm really curious to know what everyone thinks about this. So we got Becky Lynch from Monday Night Raw. She is the current NXT Women's Champion going against Tiffany Stratton. Now, I had mentioned that Becky has the title just for something for her to do over the next couple months until around the Royal Rumble. So with that being said, is she going to hold on to it for a few more months? I believe they have the deadline pay-per-view in December. She could hold on to it until then, or does she drop it here to Tiffany and go back to Raw? It is the beginning of October here coming up, so I'm not really sure how this is going to go down. I'm curious to know what everybody else thinks here. Noah, I'll throw it right over to you with your thoughts on this match. New champ, or does Becky's run continue?
Considering how critical Becky Lynch is on the main roster booking, it seems like she's being booked more down in NXT, and actually other women are getting a chance through her down there. It sounds like they're going to keep Becky Lynch down there just to shut her up so she's not doing Lemonade. I don't think Becky Lynch is going to be a transitional champ and not this soon. I don't think this is a Dolph Ziggler thing. It's going to be her first defense, and it's going to test Tiffany, who, again, is still growing before us as we speak. I think Becky Lynch is going to retain. It's not the first time that Becky's gone extreme either. Coming off that feud against Trish Stratus in the Steel Cage, and back at Evolution, beat Charlotte Flair in Last Woman Standing. I think this only escalates Tiffany, but she doesn't need a strap. I think Becky Lynch retains.
All right, we'll throw it over now to Walter with his thoughts.
Yeah, I think Becky retains. This isn't the TBS title over in AEW, so I don't think they're going to hot potato it. Not the TBS. Look, I got the wrong title. But
TNT.
The title that they always hot potato.
Yes, I know.
But Christian had it for a while. But I think it's Becky. This leads to Tiffany changing. She was the Barbie doll character who only cares about her looks. And I think she's going to start getting serious and really take her wrestling to the next level. So I think it'll be that. So it is going to be Becky wins, but it's going to lead eventually to Tiffany changing characters, and maybe she'll get it back later down the line.
All right, fair enough. Jeff Meacham, we'll throw it over to you now.
I'm really, surprisingly in my own eyes, head torn about this. Like I want to say Becky retains, but I don't know. Like they have to keep her busy until they get her into the program with Rhea going into Mania. Like that's the end game here, at least in my perspective. And with the recent signing, you got to believe that Jade Cargill is going to be facing the other champion at WrestleMania. Like he'll win the Rumble, right? So, damn. Becky retains.
All right. And I will also go with Becky retaining just because you got Nia Jax on Raw. She's working with Rhea Ripley right now. There's really nothing for Becky to do if she's not feuding with Rhea Ripley. So I think that they're going to have her stay champion just a little bit longer. The question is, if not Tiffany, who beats Becky Lynch? And could it be Jade Cargill? Will Jade go to NXT first? Sean Garner sent in $2 and says, will we see Jade Cargill in the crowd? Well, I think she's just going to go to the main roster. She could show up in NXT, but I feel like she's going to debut on SmackDown most likely and maybe be part of the Street Profits group with Bobby Lashley.
See, I know they're going to talk more about this on Open Mic Night this weekend, so I'll leave the discussion to a minimal from my end, but JJ made a great point the other day. I say keep her in the PC, get that in-ring training that we all agree she can still use. That was the one flaw in her presentation was the actual in-ring stuff. Debut her at the Rumble, have her be entered in the Rumble, and just shock the world and win the damn thing and go on to Philly to challenge SmackDown champion.
And make sure you have the camera angle correctly this time. Don't pull an AJ.
Right. Well, no. AJ was fine because we got to like we didn't see the Titantron, so that was fine. The one that messed up in the Rumble was Edge because he missed the first spear. It's like, oh, Kevin, you failed me.
Not the first time.
All right, guys, we're going to move on now to our main event of NXT's No Mercy pay-per-view event, the NXT World Championship. And to me, this is why I'm giving this show a 7, because this is legitimately a match of the year contender here. We got Carmelo Hayes versus Dragunov for the NXT Championship. Dragunov is awesome. Guys should be on the main roster, kicking ass and taking names. Really, both guys should be on the main roster. Both are ready. I don't see Carmelo losing just yet, and I think he's advertised for Deadline. I don't think they would be advertising him unless it's some kind of a swerve, but I sense that I don't really feel like anybody on this card is about to leave NXT just yet. So I do think Carmelo will retain, but should be a hell of a match. Virtue, it's a match of the year contender to me because Dragunov's just great professional wrestler. I think he's awesome, and Carmelo is spectacular. So, I enjoy it, and I'm not necessarily a Meltzer mark, and I enjoy it. So there you go.
Being a fan, Aaron, I appreciate your passion. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. So you think Carmelo's retaining?
Jeez, I've been debating about that because again, it's Ilja Dragunov.
Hard for him, man.
And Ilja Dragunov is one of my guys. I mean, he's the one that dethroned Allin General, of course, at NXT TakeOver for the NXT UK Championship. He definitely surpasses any workhorse championship. He should be a world champion. I just don't know necessarily if I want him to be the NXT world champion or go after maybe something bigger. That being said, though, how many more times can Ilja lose in this situation where he says now that nothing will hold him back from his destiny? I do think one of these two is on their way up to the main roster sooner rather than later. But if I have to call a winner here right now, I think that Hayes is not going to miss again and prove that he can beat Ilja Dragunov on his own, beaten, bad, and bruised. I don't know how, but I'm going to say Carmelo Hayes comes out still the NXT champion.
Thank you for that, Noah. Good old JM Jeff Meacham. We'll throw it over to you now.
I'm going to say Hayes retains, but not by his own choice. Trick's going to lose to Dom, and that's going to be almost the point that he gets pushed over the edge. During the main event, something's going to happen where Trick will be involved, and that final twig will snap. And he'll cost Hayes the victory, but not the title. That way, at Deadline, Carmelo versus Trick.
There you go. Walter, what do you think about what Jeff just said?
It might be that, and that's not a bad call, but I'm going to surprise everyone. I'm going to say they pull the trigger with Dragunov. I think he's going to win the title here. Because I think eventually you got to build him up. He might be the one to eventually dethrone Gunther. And if you don't start now giving him a little NXT title run to let people take him serious, we're not going to believe it when he's done. We're going to be like, if you don't watch NXT, you're going to be like, who the hell is this guy? And why did he get to go after Gunther? So
wait, did you
I think Dragunov is going to do it.
Do you think Dragunov is going to go after
the Intercontinental Championship?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? If anybody's believable to beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, it's the guy that's beat him before.
I did say one or two names. I did say, Jeff, 1 or 2 names. Either Dragunov was one of them. JD McDonough is the other, but right now he's stuck in figuring out where he belongs on Monday Night Raw. But that's
it's either that or they're going to build Chad Gable to it, but I think Dragunov might be the one.
Walter, to even suggest Dragunov, Virtue's probably going to disown you from the review. That you would even consider a niche wrestler like Dragunov going over Gunther.
No, but you know what, though? Gunther's a niche Intercontinental Champion. Like, he's been a great Intercontinental Champion, but he's a wrestler. Like, that's what he is. He's not a sports entertainer.
So, my brother. Anyway,
also, we forget Carmelo Hayes has been the champ since like April. He's had a good little run. So
he has.
Yeah. He won it here in LA. So
yeah.
I mean, Ilja like literally is what his second most serious opponent that's pushed him to his limit in his run, to say the least. I mean, it's one of those things where this match truly could go either way, and I think it defines the other's future in the long haul, whether they stay in this NXT. But something tells me right now they're still going to keep Hayes with this title.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I get it, but to break it down to
sorry, Walter. I don't think Dragunov needs the NXT Championship to go up to main roster and challenge Gunther.
All right, guys. Let's
The
move on
other
here.
thing is the only way to move up in the league is to have different picks. If y'all keep picking the same, it never switches.
That's
So
fair.
All right. Let's give the show back to Boss Man. Can we still have a whole nother pay-per-view to do, gentlemen?
We do. We got Wrestle Dream. We got 10 matches to give our predictions for now. So, again, we're going to do a round. I have 5 matches here that are part of the round, or do I only have 4? Well,
I forgot to count.
I guess I forgot to count. I feel like something's missing here. Okay, well, if we're missing a match, somebody can let me know what match we're missing, and we'll give our predictions for it. Okay.
I got you covered. Just
all right,
start
these are the matches we are going to discuss in the round. We got MJF, and I hate to be throwing him in the round.
No, you got 5 and 5. You're good.
I hate to throw him in this. MJF versus the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch, in a handicap match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Like, MJF should be in a key match, but whatever. I have to put him in the round by protest. We have Chris Jericho in the Golden Elite, which is Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi against the Don Callis family.
Who that man?
Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay. Should be a hell of a match, but I'm kind of tired of all these 6-man matches, and I'm over it. But you know, it'll be fun. It'll be very entertaining. They'll do a lot of crazy stuff. Crowd will chant, "This is awesome!" You know, the usual stuff. And then we got Eddie Kingston versus Shibata for the Ring of Honor World Championship and the Strong Openweight Championship. And then we got the Young Bucks versus the Guns versus the Lucha Brothers versus Orange Cassidy and Hook in a 4-way tag team #1 contenders match. Winning team gets a match anytime that they want. So with all that being said, Jeff has got his hand up. Jeff.
That's the 4. You're
Okay.
muted.
Got it.
God damn it. I said you have Starks and Yuta in that round section that you didn't mention just now. So there's your 5th.
I must have deleted it in my notes.
No, you just can't read it because it's that small. It's one line because that's how important the match is.
But there's also no stipulation with it either.
Right.
All right. So, Ricky Starks and Wheeler Yuta. How exciting. All right, Jeff, go ahead and give us your thoughts on these 5 matches.
So first of all, the fact that these are the matches in the round. Look at my star powers in this round section. Like, Jesus Christ. So MJF is going to lose the Ring of Honor tag titles. There is no.
You think the world champion is losing to Great Value Wyatt family?
Yes, I do. And I say that for 2 reasons. One, they've got to get Max to a point where he's about, getting ready to revert back to the devil again. Right?
Yep.
He doesn't need to be the Ring of Honor tag team champions.
No.
Adam Cole, his ankle exploded if you listen to him and Britt. Like, he's useless for a minute, okay? No. Righteous can take the titles back to Ring of Honor, where they belong, and defend on Thursday nights, where they belong. So, there's that. You got Chris Jericho, Omega, Ibushi, Takeshita, Sammy, and Will Ospreay in a round throwaway match.
Yes.
Let me just sit on that for just a brief second. Okay. As far as the prediction, I think the family wins. Just have a bad feeling about it. It's a piece of shit Don Callis is. I just have a feeling he's going to find a way. Kingston and Shibata, again, I personally think the pure title should be on the line too, since he's got that. It should be all the titles, just to keep us all day and drive everybody crazy. Since it's for both, and Shibata's already a champion, I'll say Kingston retains. Starks and Yuta, I'll go with Starks. Just go like Ricky. And the tag team Money in the Bank, match, anytime match, because that's not what it is, clearly. God, Lord forgive me. I'm going with the Bucks.
Oh no! You're probably right.
Wow. Ouch.
That's why. Again, Walter said it. You got to go with with what's going to score you the points.
I mean, fair enough. Very good point. All right,
Anyway.
Walter, let's go ahead and get your picks for these 5 glorious matches.
I love this.
Yeah. So Starks. I mean, I think that's pretty much a damn given. This is gonna leave a bad taste in my mouth too, but I agree with Jeff. The freaking Bucks are gonna win this, and it's their EVPs. They're booking themselves to win this damn. I want Hook and OC to win it, but they're booking themselves to win this damn title. I mean, this match, so that they can eventually get the titles. I'm gonna go with the family. I think that's gonna keep going with Sammy and Jericho. So I think Jericho actually takes the fall on that one. For MJF, I say he retains. Now I understand what Jeff is saying, but do you really want your world champ to freaking lose to these guys on a pay-per-view? Unless you do some kind of screwy finish where he didn't lose clean or something, but
it's
MJF
already a screwy thing. He's fighting by himself.
Yeah, but still, how many people have we seen be by themselves still conquer jabronis when they're fighting against people? He should be able to just easily fend these people off. So I say MJF.
That's a fair point, to be fair.
And which one am I? And Kingston. Kingston just beat. Why am I blanking on people's names? Claudia, yeah, and won this title. And so Kingston's being booked strong right now. He's fresh in everybody's head. Plus, he just signed that new contract. He's winning this match.
All right, that's everything for you.
That's all 5 for him.
All right, so I'll go next, and I'll let Noah go last on this. Okay, Ricky Starks beats Wheeler Yuta. It's Ricky Starks getting his win after losing to Bryan Danielson, losing to CM Punk, so on and so forth. Ricky Starks gets his win here. Young Bucks, just because I'm going with the Jeff Meacham logic that, makes sense that'll set up Bucks versus FTR one more time. And then we have Chris Jericho and the Golden Elite against the Don Callis family. I do think the Don Callis family will win since Sammy is coming off of that loss. He needs to pick up a big win, and Will Ospreay doesn't really lose when he's in AEW. So, yeah, I'll go with the bad guys to win this one. And then we got Eddie Kingston's match. Eddie Kingston wins. He just won the ROH title. Shibata's not winning. And then we have MJF versus the Righteous. The only way I see MJF losing, and Jeff, you're right, they need to get those Ring of Honor titles off of MJF at some point. But he's the world champion, and I just can't see him losing to guys that, are at the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak. Jeff?
Okay, so I don't disagree with that thought. It's like, okay, if he's not going to lose a throwaway match till he's not world champion anymore, how do you book yourself out of that corner?
I mean, that's a good point. I would say get a higher ranked team. I mean, they got the Young Bucks with the ROH Trios title, so surely you can get a high level tag team like House of Black or something, Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews versus MJF and a partner,
so
something like that.
I say we get the Trios titles off the Bucks first and foremost.
He's got them.
And then have the Bucks be the ring. The Bucks have been Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions in the past. They can find a way to stick it to MJF. That's fine. Like I'm gonna get. Hang on. It's okay with me if the Bucks are the ones to beat MJF. God damn, that hurt. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, it's possible. I mean, after that angle on Wednesday with Jay White being attacked, Jay White might assume that was MJF under the mask. So maybe Jay White interferes and costs MJF the titles. That could happen.
That's how you get Jay White and MJF at Full Gear or whatever.
I think that's definite at this point. I really do.
Walter.
For Jeff to get it out of the corner, you can always have MJF has to team up with a replacement partner, and then that partner is the one that loses the belt for them. And
correct. Maybe Captain Insano. Maybe Paul White shows up as the partner, and then he gets beat.
I only say no because if your theory on this is booking so the world champion doesn't look bad, having him lose the titles because Captain Insano shows up, that's really bad. That's bad.
But it's hilarious.
Like, I love Paul. I love the Captain Insano character. Funnier than hell. But let's not try to book the champion anymore in any more of a dark hole, shall we?
If you're gonna do something like that, though, you got to do it on an episode of Dynamite. Don't make me pay $50 to see that shit.
Right. Yeah. And Aaron, you've been talking in the chat all week. If I'm paying $50 and the world champion's not defending the world title, then he's got to have a solid outing, or I'm going to be infinitely more pissed than I already am about paying $50.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. I'm just going to stick with MJF to retain the titles. I don't see a guy named after the guy who was named after Vince McMahon in WCW. I'm talking about Vincent, a.k.a. Virgil.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell? That was a hell of a thread there. But okay.
Yeah, but yeah, a guy named Vincent is going to beat MJF. I don't think so. Noah, we'll throw it over to you now.
I do think MJF, by some miraculous miracle, is going to continue this persona of being one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. And I do think we are getting the Switchblade versus MJF's marquee main event at Full Gear. 1 year to the day MJF won the title. So MJF, by some divine intervention, will come out alive. Don't know how. I'm going to say MJF actually thrives. As far as the family versus the Golden Lovers and Chris Jericho, the most vulnerable component of this match is Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, it wouldn't surprise me if he was the one to actually eat the loss here. At this point, the good guys kind of need a win. But we all also know that Kota Ibushi just got cracked in the head with a dumbbell. So at this point, everything right now favors the bad guys. And this whole battle, more so mentality at the heart of it, Don Callis, Kenny Omega, where's the end game of this whole thing? I do understand y'all's point, so I actually am going to go with the family. As far as Kingston and Shibata, Kingston just resigned. He just became Ring of Honor World Champion. He is the NW Strong Champion, and he's going to focus primarily on AEW because of the extent of injuries he's had lately with his body, and also coming back from hernia surgery. He's a main man. Give the man some respect. I think the Mad King will beat Katsuyori Shibata in what's going to be a very respectable bout. As far as the Fatal 4-Way, if I was a guy that dictated my predictions and logic, I would not be the fan with an open mind that's not part of this twisted IWC we know today. Hell with y'all's thoughts. I'm going with Orange Cassidy and Hook for the win here. I think Orange Cassidy and Hook will be a very interesting dynamic and a very first-time encounter for the AEW Tag Team Champions, whether it's FTR or Aussie Open, because I'm not counting in one of those teams of what could be my match of the weekend. So I'm actually going with Orange Cassidy and Hook because I think it'll be a nice reset point. As
Noah,
yes.
Did you see JJ's post? Because he made a great point. They have AEW Dynamite booked for Ontario, California, near Rancho Cucamonga, where the Bucks grew up, and you got Full Gear in Los Angeles. Like, that seems like destined for the Bucks to challenge for the titles in their hometown.
If they weren't already Ring of Honor 6-minute tag champs, I would agree with you. But I'm not trying to turn the Young Bucks into belt collectors, with all due respect. So that's why I'm going against it. And you're not changing my mind. I don't give a damn about your geography lesson. So I'm going with Orange Cassidy and Hook. And as far as the last match, Ricky Starks and Wheeler Yuta, they're two young original AEW talents that really are going to make their way in a singles marquee match. But Ricky Starks is going to come back with an absolute win when his primary big bill was in his corner. I got Ricky Starks here, but I think this match might be a sleeper because we don't know what these two can do one-on-one in the ring together. We saw how far Wheeler Yuta's grown since being under Blackpool Combat Club, and it's got him marquee spots and pay-per-views. Ricky Starks already screens main eventer, world championship caliber. But I think Ricky Starks wins this ahead of Winter is Coming, the Diamond Ring thing, and also Full Gear. I think he's going to be involved in the story there. So Ricky Starks, MJF, the family, Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, and Hook.
All right.
So,
thank you.
If there was ever a reason why I'm glad I'm not going to the Go Home show or Full Gear, it's because of the Bucks. Yeah, just saying.
Wow.
What
happened to the Bucks? I thought you were big fans of Matt and Nick.
I was. No, I'm not.
Oh, shit. All right, then.
Sorry for another day.
All right, we'll move on to our 5 key matches. As I mentioned earlier, these are the matches that I feel are the most important to discuss in further detail. So let's get to it. First up,
too. Oh, yes.
The AEW Women's Championship, or the TBS Championship, whatever. Chris Statlander defending against Julia Hart. This should be a fun match with these two. Julia Hart's been picking up some momentum over the last several weeks. Looks to be Chris's toughest challenge to date. Noah, I'm going to throw it right over to you on this one. Do you think it's Julia's time, or does she maybe need a little bit more time to keep building her character up? What do you think?
It's one of those things where I think this is very unique in the women's division of AEW. We talk about the reset point and character development and talent. why Chris Statlander has been quite dominant in her run as TBS champion, hasn't lost since her return. Julia Hart's been undefeated now for 25 singles matches, and dare I say, the strongest built female character in the entire AEW women's roster. Under the influence of the House of Black, and of course, Brody King, that has definitely helped with her physical appeal with that beautiful picture-perfect moonsault. This is one of those matches that truly could go either way. But I look at the future of the TBS Championship, and I think right now, if the Marquis says the house always wins, I don't think this necessarily is a one-up, but I don't think this is where you pull it from stats. I still think stats where it's at, especially with the whole idea of anyone, anytime, anywhere. I'm just waiting for somebody from Stardom or Impact to show up. So again, it's one of those matches that I'm definitely looking forward to a lot. I'm not sure how, but I think she is going to outsmart or outpower Julia Hart and retain. I'm going with Chris Statlander.
As am I. I think Chris will retain her title. Julia Hart might have her day, but I don't think it's going to be at WrestleDream. She'll have to keep dreaming.
Her biggest match and biggest a moment to date. So already growth and development 1 year ago from happy spirited cheerleader to Dark Empress of the House of Black. And I think we all can agree we're all damn glad that became full effect. Either way, yeah, I'm not going against that.
All right. We'll now throw it over to good old JM, Jeff Meacham.
No, you mentioned, the house always wins, and more often than not, bet on Black. But yeah, I got to go with Chris Statlander retaining here. It makes more sense to me to have her. It's like I've been saying, they booked her to be the one in 60-1, and then they didn't do shit with her for a month. So they've got to rebuild her as the TBS champion if they want fans, me as a fan, to take her seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you guys think, I'll throw this over to Walter, do you think Mercedes Moné might show up at some point? Do you think she'll be in the crowd or even involved in this match? Walter, what do you think?
She might be in the crowd, but is her ankle or her foot still hurt? Is she fully 100% recovered?
We don't know, but of course they're gonna keep that on the down low, so it's a surprise when she does show up.
They'll milk it. They'll show her a few times, if anything. Mm-hmm. But in terms of this match, I don't think this is the only time these two are going to fight. So I think Statlander retains, but Hart is going to win the match. I think it's going to be some kind of screwy mess up or something. Something's going to happen. So it leads to a rematch where Hart has a legitimate reason where I could have beat you and we need to do a rematch. Or I did beat you and I should get the title. You escaped with the title. You escaped with the title. You didn't retain your title. So I think it's going to lead to something else. So Hart wins the match, but she doesn't win the title.
All right, fair enough. Maybe some interference from Brody King backfires. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And maybe Mercedes does show up in the crowd. I mean, certainly a possibility. I think we all went with Statlander on this one. So we'll move on to the next match of the evening, which is for the AEW Tag Team titles. We got FTR defending against Aussie Open. Should be a good match, Noah, but I'm not really into Aussie Open. Like, maybe they'll prove me wrong and I'll be won over on this pay-per-view, but I'm not a New Japan guy, so I really don't know much about them, nor do I really care. I think FTR wins, to set up potentially the inevitable FTR versus Young Bucks match. I just see Aussie Open as filler opponents for FTR right now. So that's part of the issue too. Jeff, we'll throw it over to you now. Mic on, and your thoughts.
Yeah, FTR retains. We're heading toward FTR and Bucks again. It's going to be a thing, as much as I'm trying to hold down the freaking vomit coming up from saying that over and over again. And people in the chat room, just turn heel. It's like, no, I'm just sick of the EVPs, and their bullshit. I'm being honest. just gonna be blunt about it, like whatever.
Way out of his heart.
Yeah, it's it'll be a good match. Aussie Open's a solid. I wish they would put more emphasis on the fact that they're with Ospreay, because those three guys are just insane. But having them be split for the purposes of this show, that's fine. It'll be a great tag match. I think it'll be one of the better matches of the weekend. But I think FTR retains here because, as you said, Aaron, you being the less niche fan, you're not going to be in Aussie Open as much as some of the other viewers. So FTR, more people know who FTR are. That's not like a pirate. Who the team of FTR is. So I say they retain.
I mean, I don't even know the names of the Aussie Open guys. There's Beard and Clean Shaven. Like, I don't even know their
That's
names.
Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. Do you want me to
Okay.
give you a little bit of education?
Sure. Enlighten me, Noah.
So Aussie Open and FTR faced each other last year at Royal Quest 2 out in England for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and FTR successfully retained. But FTR also honored and respected them and said that they potentially could be the tag team this generation, while FTR have been the top guys of tag team professional wrestling. That being said, this match takes place 1 year to the day, and FTR begs Aussie Open to beat them to show them how much this means to them. Aussie Open being former Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions as well, and to your point, they are part of United Empire. And again, I'm one of those guys where at the end of the day, did you want a video where you all just have the same opinion every match? I'm going with Aussie Open. I think Aussie Open should be the ones at this point to defraud FTR. With FTR having this open campaign of a young, hungry, talented tag team that wants to try and usurp them from that spot. Beat the top guys, beat them for the prize and the grandest stage of them all. I think Aussie Open deserves that moment, especially since we got Mark Davis back from injury after Kyle Fletcher had to relinquish both the IWGP Heavyweight Tag and the NWW Tag Team Championships for those that remember Resurgence. Hi, Jeff. So that being said, I think Aussie Open does finally best FTR, and we get a reset for the tag team division. I'm looking more towards the obvious booking from a geography standpoint for you all at Full Gear. That's why I stand different out here as a fan of professional wrestling. Aussie Open for the win, 1 year to the day.
I figured out what he's doing. He's getting himself something to do to stay busy, to work on that freaking league graphic to make sure he keeps himself busy typing up when he gets everything wrong.
Oh.
Mark, dude, keep himself busy because you're not busy enough, clearly.
Yeah, sometimes think differently. That's how Apple became a thing.
Yeah, there you go. That is true. Hey, Noah.
Yes.
Mark Davis is one of the guys?
Yes, Mark Davis. He's the heavyweight of the two. Yeah,
the bearded guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle Fletcher's clean shaven. Okay.
Yeah, he's like a young Will Ospreay, more agile. He's the quicker of the two.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, like for years, I could not tell which Uso was which, but also they're twins. So, you know.
Yeah, it's a different.
Sometimes if the tag teams come off as generic to me, like I don't know who's who, but you know, hopefully I'll get to know them a little bit better as time goes on. Walter, I'll go over to you now and get your thoughts on this.
I almost want Aussie Open to win just to not have to see the Bucks versus FTR again. That's like kind of the reason I want, but I don't see it coming. I think FTR retain here. I see what Noah's doing, but I think if Aussie wins, they're just going to job right out to the Young Bucks because I think Young Bucks are winning that other match. So if you want to get it off that way, like they just gonna pass the buck, so to speak, pass the titles over. Pretty much a transitional. You see what I did there, Jeff? Right? Transitional champions. But I do think I think FTR retained though.
I think Aussie Open versus the Guns would be more interesting at Full Gear. And Orange Cassidy and Hook, let's see what these two can do. Again, think differently. You never know.
All right, let's move on. We got 3 matches left to discuss. First up, we have a match that should be pretty heated considering it's in Seattle. We got Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page and Seattle, Washington. Whose house is it?
Swerve's house, and former participant of Defy Wrestling home promotion there.
So is he going to get cheered as the good guy in this match? That remains to be seen. Will he go over? I mean, typically in AEW, the hometown boy gets the win. It's not like WWE where they bury the hometown guy. But Adam Page is Adam Page. What do you guys think about this one? Walter, I'll throw it right over to you on this. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
Page is an EVP, so it's kind of hard to go against it, but I think they're gonna pull this off. I think Swerve is gonna do this. Like based on his promos, and man, he really shot Page down. Like some of the things he said and how, like I was like, damn, I felt embarrassed for Page. Like some of that was like real to me, almost. So I'm gonna go with Swerve, and I think this leads to something with Page eventually, where he had enough and he snaps or something. He's going to go on some kind of losing streak, and starting with this.
All right. Jeff Meacham, what do you think?
I just want Swerve to hit Page so hard he knocks him loopy and that way Page can't talk for another year. That'd be super. Yeah, I'm just deal with the dark cloud. It's like, dude, just come out and say it. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh, what? Like, I love the passion, right? But where was that when he was still with the company? Like, the EVPs are proving themselves more and more to be what they are. Anyway, gonna go with Swerve here. It's more of a hope than a prediction, but I have a feeling, because I feel so strongly the Bucks are going to win, that Hangman's not.
All right, fair enough. Noah, what do you think?
I think Swerve definitely needs to defy this whole EVP dynamic that the EVPs have to be on top. And I think he needs to win literally in his house after falling short at AEW, and getting buried in a copping courtesy of Sting and Darby Allin, and even falling short before that for the AEW National Championship. I think Swerve deserves a moment here. And I think Swerve is also more hungry than the Hangman. I'm going with Swerve because I think that he and Prince Nana need to be back in the money since they lost the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships. No, I'm not doing the Nana dance. Swerve for the win.
I mean, you could argue Swerve needs the win way more. I'm not sure on this one. I'm really torn. I'm like 50-50, but I'll go ahead and agree with you guys and say that Swerve picks up the victory. I'm just leaning towards the hometown guys winning because Tony Khan likes to book the hometown guys to win. So I'll say Swerve somehow picks up the win, and they'll probably do a rematch, and Page will get his win back. He'll win his rematch, whether it's on Dynamite or Full Gear. But yeah, Swerve will win the first one, and I suspect the feud will continue with these guys, and Page will probably win the feud, but I'll say Swerve
Stop
wins
it!
the first one.
Sorry, Aaron, continue. JJ's trying to instigate my dignity again.
All right, guys, we got 2 matches left. We got, 2 out of 3 falls, so could be like 3 matches, possibly. We got Christian Cage defending the TNT Championship. That's all we need on a 10-match show or 11-match show. A 2 out of 3 falls match. We got Christian Cage defending the TNT Championship that he's held for several months now, going up against Darby Allin, who is also from Seattle. Will he defy the odds and win the championship here? Now, they've been building up this idea that Christian has never beaten Darby. Darby beat him twice, so maybe Christian wins the first round. So he has a win over Darby, and then Darby wins the second. And usually we get 3 falls, and I suspect we will. So, Jeff, I'll go over to you on this one. Does Darby pick up the title? I mean, it's been hot potatoing like crazy over the past couple years. What do you think is going to happen here?
There is a variable that needs to be discussed. And I feel if that variable is introduced, Christian Cage will retain. If a certain rated R Hall of Famer is not in Seattle, then I think Darby will regain the title. So I don't know how you want to list that in the predictions thing, Noah, but I feel if Adam Copeland is at this show, that Christian will retain the title.
Noah, should we do the bonus point? Does Adam Copeland show up at WrestleDream?
I think with how pinnacle this endgame is for Darby Allin and Christian Cage, where that could be the literal X factor to this whole thing, I think I would make it official.
Yeah, I think that's a key component to predicting this match is Adam's presence, whether he's there or not.
All right, Jeff. So yes or no, does Adam Copeland show up at WrestleDream?
No.
Oh.
So Darby will regain the title.
All right. Walter Cruz, we'll throw it over to you now. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I'm trying to think when's the last time we see the 2 out of 3 falls match where it only went 2 falls. Like mostly all of them go all 3.
Probably a
now that
WWE
you said
match.
this, probably something in like 99 or something. Just really thinking
More recent. I think something like 2018 or 19.
I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go with Christian on no to Adam Copeland showing up first, and then I think Christian is going to retain.
Interesting. So you think Darby, you think the heel Swerve is winning in Seattle, but babyface Darby Allin, who's going to be beloved by everyone, you think he's going to lose in Seattle?
Yep. Christian just technically, even though he's been the champ for months, he just technically officially won it on Dynamite.
Well, Spencer brought up an interesting point. Maybe Luchasaurus turns against Christian. I think Darby's winning it. Hometown guy. And Jeff, even if Adam Copeland shows up, I don't think he's going to help Christian. Like he might show up to save Darby from a beatdown and go against his former tag team partner. And then down the line, like Adam is not going to be a babyface, or not going to be a heel, I should say, if he's coming into AEW. Like he's going to be beloved and cheered. Christian's a heel, so they're not going to be together right now. But down the line, they could potentially team up, but that'll be when Christian goes babyface.
And we're Sting in all this.
Yeah, seriously. Good point, Walter. What is Sting's involvement in this? Because we haven't heard much from him.
I'm pretty sure Darby Allin's pride right now has been called so much into question. He's called Christian Cage out of question. They want to sell this thing one-on-one. Not that I'm saying that's going to stick, but I think that's basically what I'm being told.
I just love that we're talking about Adam Copeland and Christian Cage possibly being a thing in 2023. That just warms my heart.
It's
right?
Wild,
it's
man.
Awesome.
But anyways, I say Darby wins the title.
And Adam doesn't show up, Aaron?
I want him to show up because it'll create some buzz and traffic for the website, but
there's the honest answer right there, kids.
Get your money. I know it's your job.
There could be some fire to this smoke. There's a lot of strong rumors about it, but I'm still like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like I just find it hard to believe Edge would leave WWE.
Yeah,
the company he's been with his whole career, but nothing lasts forever. And he's done everything there is to do in WWE. With AEW, there's all new opponents he can face. He could work in Japan. Like that gives him some fresh opportunities in AEW. So
that's the word I was waiting for. Walter, by the way, did you say that Edge shows up? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, even though you went with Christian. All
right. So I will put on paper no, but I want him to show up, and I kind of hope he does because it'll be interesting. Anyways, Noah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was with that. I agree with you, Aaron, as far as traffic to the site. And man, if this guy and JJ get to call Adam Copeland's arrival in AEW, I'll be so happy for them. I'll be jealous as hell that I'm not there to watch it in real time.
All right, Noah, we'll throw it over to you.
As far as the TNT Championship that has been hot potatoed since June 17th, but Luchasaurus has been the damn champion. But I digress. Christian Cage just wanted don't start me, Jeff. Don't start with me. This is Aaron's show. Don't you start with me. Anyway, shoot. Don't let me get the glasses off. I'm not trying to be freaking rant mode tonight. That's Virtue's job on Sundays. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. As far as, this town not being hot potatoes since June 17th, I will say this. This has been the most important story in this title's history. But as you said, there's so many elements. Luchasaurus, if he gets a brain. Nick Wayne, AR Fox. Can they come to the same page and come to the aid of Darby Allin? Because can you trust Christian Cage? Christian Cage is that guy that literally works everybody, but works up people. Before one person lost their damn marbles at the greatest event in wrestling history, but I digress. It's in Seattle. I can see it all coming into play. This is truly a full circle moment for Darby Allin to lose himself on Mount Everest next year. Crazy son of a bitch. I do think that Darby Allin is finally going to close the book on this, and will really surprise me if he shows up in no face paint. I think Darby Allin does get the win finally here and becomes the TNT champion. The title that he holds more important than the AEW World Championship in the memory of the late, great Brody Lee and the person he got off in the first place, Cody Rhodes. And I think Christian Cage has done quite a bit to raise the stock of this title, but I don't think he needs it. And I'm curious what Father of the Year could do at a different role. Maybe go after a different title or bring up a different town, especially with him and Luchasaurus having a fallout. Because I do think that is closer to happening. And also, I don't think that Adam Copeland is showing up, although I will probably, lose myself if he does, especially if he shows up at Madalingus. But I'm going to say that Darby Allin finally closes the book on this and becomes the TNT champion. Does ushering in another era, and then we'll see who takes it from him and can hopefully run strong with it. Thank you, Christian Cage, despite the fact you've been delusional as the TNT champion since June 17th. But at least here, this should be an instant classic. And as far as the last time I matched with 2 straight falls, I think it was JJ's NXT with Paulo Cruz and who's the other damn dude? No, Carmelo Hayes. And I think that was earlier this year. But yeah, I got Darby Allin closing the book on this, defying Christian Cage, shutting him up, and finally giving his father a different check from Social Security. I'm going to go with Darby Allin for the win.
Jeff?
Did you say this that match be an instant classic, Noah?
Yes.
Impact Wrestling, thanks you for that callback. Hey.
Now, Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. He still doesn't know who Ivar or Eric is.
I don't know which one is which.
All right, Eric is bald.
I kind of don't know either.
Ivar has the beard. Eric is married to Sarah Logan, a.k.a. Valhalla.
Okay.
Aaron, that's right.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
That's about as much current knowledge as you all need.
Right.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
If Christian loses, if Darby retains, would you buy into Luchasaurus and Christian winning the ROH titles off of MJF? And that's how you get it off of MJF.
Ooh, there you go. I like that better than Great Value Wyatt family beating MJF. Like, come on now. Great Valley. Okay, so Noah.
Great Valley, huh?
I will say this. I need to see what happens on Collision because it's possible that something happens on that show that leads me to change my mind with some of these predictions. So, we can all change it last minute. They might do an angle that convinces me that maybe MJF will drop the titles, but man, the Righteous, like let it be Christian and Luchasaurus or anybody. Like, I don't know. Just
changing picks last minute because no one has enough to do tomorrow, Saturday night as it is.
Dig what I'm saying, man. Don't worry, I always give a deadline a few hours before.
That'll be a fun tag run, though. Christian.
I think that'd be kind of cool, actually. And hey, the Luchasaurus will actually hold a damn championship, probably longer than freaking 2 minutes. So there you go. The actual physical strap, I mean, not the title itself on the freaking graphic.
I mean, if MJF's losing to the Righteous, the Great Valley Wyatt family, he might as well go to WWE at that point, even if it
Great Valley again, Aaron. Great Value.
Great Value. They work with Walmart.
You keep saying Great Valley. It's like I'm waiting for the Jogging Dragon to come out there and be their mascot.
Oh God.
We are approaching the new champions.
We are approaching the month of weird with October that I could give blip about, but I digress. Anyway, keep moving forward.
All right, we got our main event. We're now into the 1 hour mark, and that's why we did some rounds, so we didn't go to 2 hours.
Brilliant.
Our main event of Wrestle Dream. I presume this will be the main event since the world title is not being defended on this show.
Freaking should be.
That's
Washington's own Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes.
In a dream match, as they put it. Now, I noticed on this graphic, Zack is a New Japan World TV Champion. No, what? They did not say this title was on the line, did they?
Correct. It is not on the line. Otherwise, this match would be 15 minutes or less.
Okay, so yeah, title's not going to be on the line. Now, typically, I would say the New Japan champion wins, but it's Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson beat Okada. Like, I just don't see Bryan losing to Zack Sabre Jr. Like, the match should be awesome. Could be a match of the year contender. Probably will be. But I think Bryan wins this. And, they
especially in Seattle.
Bryan strong in Seattle.
Yeah.
Bryan's not losing in Seattle. Really looking forward to it, though. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic match. Noah, we'll go over to you with your thoughts on this one.
From Kurt Angle to Chris Jericho to Chris Benoit, Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Dean Malenko, great technicians of the past, and of course Minoru Suzuki, who influenced Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness. I am seriously looking forward to this technical classic. Who could pull the other worst to a pretzel, and how far is Bryan Danielson willing to put his body on the line? What is his final odyssey, might I add? Because come next year, folks, that's all, folks, for the American Dragon in professional wrestling. Hard to believe, but again, the man's putting family first before the industry. God bless him. That being said, I think this Odyssey has to have a strong start. After coming up against Ricky Starks in 2 great matches, strap match, test death match, I think that Bryan Danielson will get this win. These two have not faced each other since 2009. They are 1-1. This is the 3rd ever singles encounter. And just tell me right now that Bryan Danielson, you would almost say he has to win. But Joseph Thunder Liger, he lost his first his last 2 retirement matches, but this isn't Bryan Danielson's very last match. There is still some very much unsettled business with some of the greats in the wrestling industry. I think it starts here. I am going to say that Bryan Danielson somehow out-wrestles Zack Sabre Jr., because that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. The better technical wrestler. American Dragon for the win.
All right, we'll throw it over now to Walter Cruz.
Yeah, I think Bryanson is a person that gives back. He
Bryanson?
loves the business, and he would give up this win. If this was anywhere else but Seattle, I would have went with Zack, because I think Bryan would have let him go over him. But because it's Seattle, it's Bryan Danielson that takes the win. But I can't wait for this match. I think it is going to be a classic technical match. A lot of submissions, reversals. If you don't like that submission match style, you might not like this match. But I like those kind of matches where you see reversals and different submissions that you might not usually see. Not just your basic Boston Crab or sharpshooter. You're going to see
grappling classic. Oh man,
exactly.
You're going to see moves that you
barely see.
Damn right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're going to get those chances. Wrestling match here.
That's traditional as it gets. No flips, just technicians manipulating the human body. Joint manipulation abound.
All right, Jeff Meacham, give us your thoughts on this professional wrestling clinic that we're going to see on Sunday.
Oh, it will be that, and then some.
Damn right.
I will say I'm 99% sure I would need a stat boy to fact check this for me, because my stats are what they are, my numbers are what they are, but this could be, if Tony's willing to shell out the money. Thank you, JJ, for that. I think that Tony should absolutely pay for Final Countdown. I say that because Bryan has not been in his home area, home state, whatever, since returning to wrestling as Bryan Danielson. So we haven't heard Final Countdown for him in Washington State since he became Bryan Danielson again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I need Final Countdown.
Yeah, I think
you're facing Zack Sabre Jr., who is, in the talk of the best on the planet right now. He's up there with Ospreay and Danielson and the guys we talk about all the time. So you need that full American Dragon presentation. This is one of those matches that we've all talked about for so long, since Bryan got the WWE cuffs off his wrists. Right.
Yeah.
So damn it, I'm here for every bit of it. Bryan wins. They're in Seattle. Bryan's going to win, but I think the fans are going to win most because of the entrances and just what this match is going to be.
Fight forever.
They could.
Without it being a New Japan TV title match, they could.
Yes, exactly. They
and
could.
And I know somebody. I'm not going to say. I'm just going to point and whistle. Is going to look forward to calling this technical ridiculousness.
This is going to be up there in my top 5 of this year. And I'm going to be blessed to say I got to call and witness, even if I'm not there live.
It's one of those, you didn't expect to get to call Steve Austin versus anybody last year. You're calling Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. like, holy shit. Awesome. It's great. I love it.
2023, the greatest year of the industry.
The only way this card needs CM Punk on it is if he's sitting in the crowd cheering on his friend Bryan Danielson. Otherwise, no.
Stop. Just stop, guys, with the past. It is what
they
it
don't.
Is. We
don't need CM Punk.
Yeah, let's all move forward. And I'm very curious, again, how do we end an era and define a new one? And how does this odyssey continue? What truly is the final countdown for the American Dragon? I love the idea of them playing in Seattle, Aaron, but honestly, at this point, I would just save it for what could be Bryan Danielson's last match. The question is where and who, but I do think Final Countdown needs to be played at least one more time before the American Dragon is through.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he'll come out to that music.
We'll see.
I think it's a given. All right, guys, that's it
for his whole last run, and then off to the sunset.
That's freaking $1 million every time it plays.
That's
all
true.
right. Is that it? We good?
You covered everything.
All right, we covered everything, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, chat room, for your contributions tonight. And thank you to everyone that super chatted. Much love and appreciation to you all. Let's go ahead and do our plugs. good old JM Jeff Meacham. I'll start with you. You got quite a bit, so tell us what's going
Well,
on.
I've literally got 2 graphics to plug. Of course, tonight coming up at the top of the next hour, we'll be Talk Wrestling with yours truly across the multiverse of media, as well as right here on NoDQ.com. Just my thoughts on everything and anything wrestling coming up here at the top of the next hour. But tomorrow, Noah and JJ will be simply predicting NXT No Mercy. Saturday morning, they'll be simply predicting WrestleDream. And then we get into our coverage. NXT No Mercy coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific on Saturday, followed, of course, by our Saturday Staples Shenanigans Open Mic Night. And then Sunday night, same time, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific with WrestleDream, our exclusive watch-along coverage. I say exclusive, it's going to go across the entirety of the multiverse. But Noah and JJ on the call. Low-key jealous that I'm not going to be there to be a part of it as far as in real time, but I have the utmost confidence and faith in my team that they are going to kick all the ass this weekend. So, guys, enjoy the hell out of it. I'll be wandering around Haddonfield, trying not to get my head, chopped off by a random serial killer. So there you go. It'll be fun for me while I'm gone, but not as much as I would enjoy being there.
All right. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Richard, I did not answer your super chat with a dollar amount because I don't know what the Daniel Garcia dance is, but I guess $100 I'll do it. But
the man doesn't work for cheap.
Yeah. Anyways, Walter, go ahead.
You can follow me on Instagram at CalFire Farms, and then have my Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel. And on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at Walter Alex Cruz. And usually on the review, as long as Virtue doesn't get pissed off that I picked Dragunov for that match. So anything I know, just stay tuned.
For Virtue's Rage, all right.
And that's pretty much it for me.
All right, Noah, go ahead. Oh, by the way, I forgot to throw up the graphic here for Walter, so let me do that where we can find Walter on social media. There you go. Rage of Wrestling, Cal Fire, and Walter Alex Cruz on X.
On the Twix, baby.
The Twitter.
All right, Noah Foster, go ahead and close us out.
Again, guys, it's always a pleasure. You know what I am. You know where to find me. It's as simple as this. Follow me on the Twitter and on YouTube, and then Foster 1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, the entire AEW family. For I am but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. Only wish to encourage you that there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. Just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. And of course, stay tuned for forums for both NXT No Mercy and AEW's Wrestle Dream. Of course, they will be out probably following this video, if not maybe tomorrow night, depending on my time and stuff like that. Good luck to everybody here, everybody in the galaxy, and anybody that's a fan of wrestling or sports entertainment. This should be a very fun weekend.
All right, guys, that's it. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. I'll be doing coverage of both shows this weekend, Saturday night and Sunday night. Stay tuned for that. Take care, everybody. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and we will see you all next time.
Have a good night, folks.